Hey there! This video will be a little bit different from what I usually do. There has been some really interesting news happening in the movie world recently, and I feel like I really want to share my take on some of it. So for you, this is a great opportunity to have some background noise while you're eating or about to fall asleep. And for me, this is an opportunity to upload more often and rant about stuff. So let's get into it. So why don't we start off with the most terrible stuff? MCU's latest movie, Thunderbolts, or how it's now called, the New Avengers, is officially a flop. And we are talking a huge flop here. Only $380 million have been earned globally so far, with a production budget of $180 million, meaning the loss of approximately $100 million for Marvel Studios and Disney. This devastating result ranks the New Avengers as the third lowest grossing MCU movie in its entire 17-year history. And I have a few thoughts about this. First of all, the amount of time that it took them to destroy their entire reputation is just mind-blowing. 11 years of solid work and only 2 years to ruin everything. And by these 2 years, I mean 2021 and 2022, the years during which almost every project of the MCU was its own disaster. Secondly, if Thunderbolts was on the same level with the new Captain America movie with its plot and characters, and by that I mean an utterly awful plot and insanely boring characters, I would say screw it, it totally deserved flopping for being a garbage piece of content that was trying to be sold to the fans. But as I said in my Thunderbolts review, this movie is so much different than what we got used to getting from the MCU, and it is so much better than the majority of projects we've seen from the studio since 2021. I'm just gonna say it right now. Thunderbolts / The New Avengers is the best movie in the MCU since Endgame. It brought together some of the most unlikable and unpopular characters from before, made them relatable and very much likable, and put them into a well-crafted story that wasn't just yet another boring world-saving scenario, but something that had deep themes and ideas. But people didn't show up, and this movie bombed catastrophically, even with great reviews. I mean, just look at it, this is beyond great. People praised it for what it is. What Marvel needs to understand straight away here is that it flopped not because people don't want to see MCU movies taking a slightly darker turn, or not because it looked very different visually. It flopped because the fans just couldn't believe there's finally something truly decent coming out from the MCU. And that's totally fair. People were being fed with mostly garbage for a few years, and now they're fed up and are being very picky with what they take from the MCU. So, Mr. Feige and some other executives at the studio, don't you dare blame the failure of Thunderbolts on the crew behind it. These people did pure magic. And by the way, if you want to know exactly why this movie is amazing and special, then check out my review of it. There's lots of cool stuff there, but only after you have watched this video. And we're moving on to another huge flop, and that's Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. $300 million spent on the movie's production and only $509 million earned as of the day of the video's recording. According to what smart people say, a movie should make 2.5 times more than its budget just to break even, so that's even before it starts generating any revenue for a movie studio. With Mission Impossible earning only this much 1 month since it's been released, it seems like they're now thinking they should have ended the show with the 6th installment, which is the franchise's box office champ and the best movie overall. But in this case, we wouldn't have seen Tom Cruise perform the biggest and most dangerous stunt in cinema history, or the insane stuff he does in the 8th movie, so I'd say it's good they kept going. I could compare watching this movie to eating a croissant with a filling. You take your first bite and only feel its dry dough. The first 20 minutes of the film were super boring due to a very long exposition and annoying flashbacks. But then you go for a second bite, and that's when you finally taste the delicious filling. As soon as the movie was done with the exposition, it immediately started throwing beautiful locations and crazy stunts, and that was exactly what I came for. Up until the very end, I was sitting at the edge of my seat with my jaw dropped, and I absolutely loved it. With such an underwhelming result, the chances of this franchise getting another project in the works in the near future are near zero. but they are not equal to 0 though. But if you're feeling like you'd like to increase the chances of this video getting more views, then definitely drop a like so it gets shown more. And also subscribe to the channel to watch more videos like this one. Alright, I'm feeling like we also need to talk about Ballerina. Oh snap, that's not the full title, my bad. We need to talk about From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. I mean, I get that it was important to let people know that this is a new installment in the John Wick franchise, but putting that in the movie's title is pretty bizarre. Okay, whatever. 96 million have been earned worldwide in 3 weeks against a production budget of 90 million. That's just rough. The movie has had a dismal opening weekend with only 25 million earned domestically against the projected 35 million. But let's step aside from the numbers for 1 minute and talk about the movie itself, which I liked very much actually. I'm a huge fan of John Wick movies because of their elaborate, extremely complex action sequences with meticulous attention to detail that make each sequence extremely satisfying to watch. And all of this is completely present in Ballerina too. Not the John Wick 4 level of action, yet it is still super cool and intense. One of the main mistakes that they've done here is the release date. Ballerina got assassinated by Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible 8, which was a more formidable foe because it's the same genre. The fourth installment of John Wick was released pretty much perfectly back in March of 2023 with no major competitors around, which helped it earn a whopping $441 million with a budget of $100 million. So they could have either released it earlier in March/April or pushed it further to August in order not to get caught in the fight between the summer's big three, which are Jurassic World Rebirth, Superman, and Fantastic Four First Steps. But we got what we got. And now it is clear that Ballerina will be making up for its colossal losses at the theatrical box office via its digital run, where I hope the situation will be better because I really need a sequel for it, which they hinted at the end. So that was pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel to get more movie news and reviews, and I'll see you very soon.